mechanic who suggests that perhaps the ram was upright because the artist actually planned how putting this thing together and could squeeze the ram in sideways, which is hard to believe, especially when it's in the center of the mosaic, but nevertheless, the mosaic style as a whole is kind of so perhaps that's what happened. It's also interesting to note that for those of you who are sensitive to the Midrash, which is a traditional interpretation of the biblical text, according to Midrash, Isaac was a grown man. He was 37 years of age at the time of the account happened. But here he's clearly represented as a child. That's fascinating because it indicates that the authors of this mosaic, who incidentally know because we have this dedication on this name, one of them is clearly Jewish, the other is clearly Greek, which may indicate some generational differences. Like, for example, I have go by the English name Henry. All my kids have multiple names, so maybe it's not like a vulture or something. Who knows? At any rate, is it possible that the readers of the Mosaic were unaware of the Midrash? A lot of the research that I'm presenting comes from Professor Lee Ivey, who wrote an excellent chapter on this in his book, Visual Jews in Late Antiquity. And he suggests that the artist was really working with more of a shared narrative that local Christians had as well. This is in a heavily Christianized area of Israel in the 5th century in particular. So it's not out of question if you think about synagogue architecture, where the Midrash clearly states that the two tablets of the law were square, and yet you see a tremendous amount of art and iconography by Jews that represents the tablets of the law as having rounded tops, and that in synagogues all over the place. So it's not out of the question that the artist is simply working within an art vocabulary that was not Christian. Also fascinating and a little bit weird here is this amazing zodiac that appears in the center of the film. As you can see, in the center there is a figure surrounded by what looks like horses, like a chariot, and around that figure are the 12 signs of the zodiac with the Hebrew names, and then around that are the 4 seasons of the year, the 13 months. It's very common to see the zodiac as a decorative element in synagogues. You see that all the way up into the 20th century. So that's not surprising. What is surprising, however, is sometimes see facial representation. Okay? But even more surprising is that you've got clearly the figure in the center is the sun god, Helios, right? Who's like going across the sky with his chariot straight out of Greek mythology. Like, wow, this is like seriously bizarre. How did it get into the floor of a synagogue unless we had to rely on the kind of general artistic vocabulary of the time? It is surprising. Also, on the outside, the poet, the seasons do not correspond as they do in another 6th century mosaics. They do not correspond with the correct months of the year. They're not lined up winter with the winter months and so on. So it is possible that the artist was perhaps a little bit confused about these things. I think that's certainly quite likely. But that's about it for a brief look at this fascinating 6th century synagogue. On behalf of Kosher Rothschild'S Cruises and my colleague, Professor Eddie Wright, whom I will be teaching, who's an expert in Jewish medical ethics, and this is his special accreditation. Thank you very much for watching. Check out the website. It is going to be an amazing journey. Thanks again. Hello everyone, we're continuing with our series on Jewish art and artists, and I'd like to look at a specifically historical context here of kind of a folk art that's associated with the Jewish catacombs of ancient Rome. I originally recorded this video prior to last scheduled trip of Kosher World Cruises to Venice, and I'm just still passing with stuff. I thought I would put it into this video again. Hope you find this interesting. The catacombs that were discovered in the Randanini vineyard. Apparently some farmers were working in the region of Rome, and they found these ancient underground tombs, which were common. I mean, there are a lot of external marker you can see here. This is the lone standing structure that appeared to be some sort of cover over the tombs. When they got in there, it became very clear that the tombs were actually not Christian origin. They were therefore not protected by the Papal Commission for Sacred Archaeology, because that only protected Christian tombs. Any pagan tombs or Jewish tombs, heretical tombs, in other words, were for protection of the church, and therefore could be.
How's your day going?
With a lot more scientific research, and unfortunately could be exploited as well. That's part of the sad history.
Just one moment, big dog.
That the catacombs discovered there in the next century or so since their discovery, many of the inscriptions and other works of art that were discovered there were actually sold for profit. It was exposed to anti-Semitic graffiti, especially during the 1940s. But nevertheless, the material that remains absolutely fascinating. It tells us a lot about the nature of the come with me. Let us recall.
Just one moment.
The major population.
What'd you just say, Pimp?
My friend was meant to come with me to stand up last night, but I had to go visit him in the hospital and it was raining. So I kind of forgot because I wanted to be with him because it was,
So you didn't do stand-up comedy?
Yeah, well, he was having, he was in a bit of a state.
How did your friend get in the hospital?
Yeah?
Yeah. They had a mental outbreak?
Yeah. Let's just say that.
Okay, what does that mean? And so you had to go to a mental hospital to go visit him?
It's a hospital. Yeah. Oh, mental health.
Okay. How are they doing?
Fine.
Are they better?
I think they're better than their living situation at home.
Okay, what's up with their living situation at home?
Oh, it's just dog shit. Poverty.
It's dog shit?
Yeah, it's just poverty.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, are they going to be okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So you
They
did?
said they would rather be in there. Their home is fucking awesome. House.
Okay. Well, they can't be in there forever. All right, so you didn't do stand-up comedy this week. Are you planning on doing?
I've poured more drugs.
Okay, what are your jokes?
That's my drugs?
Yeah.
They might offend you.
All right, well, say it.
What? You might offend you.
Okay, say it. I'm not easily offended.
I find it funny when I meet neo-Nazis with autistic children because the Jewish people created autism.
It's just
The idea of autism.
Why do you think Jews created that?
Because the founder of autism was Jewish. The person who first researched autism was Jewish. The first person who first diagnosed the first person with autism was Jewish.
Okay, so you think we created it?
created the debt.
Okay. What is your obsession with autism?
No, they tell me I have it.
Did they give you anything for it?
Well, that's the thing, right? They talk of ADHD, so I feel like they're diagnosing as many people with autism because it also occurs with so many other mental disorders and neurodivergencies where they're like it's like you go get one and then you got to go, oh, now I have to go get the diagnosis for the other thing, and then the ADHD thing, they're going to put you on medication for it. So a lot of it comes back to the pharmaceutical companies wanting to diagnose people with autism, and then they go, oh, you also have ADHD, and that was a $14 million deal with when the DSM-5 was created. The people who created the DSM-5, which were part of the American Psychiatric Association, when the DSM-5 was created, around 60% of people on the board for DSM-5 took a 14 million, all up in total, they took around $14 million in funding from pharmaceutical companies.
And you
Does
think
that make you not trust the mental health care system in America that we're also using in Australia?
I don't trust the pharmaceutical industry.
You don't trust the pharmaceutical industry?
No, and I don't trust anybody who trusts it.
Do you think I should be taking ADHD medication?
I think you were absolutely fine before you started going to these doctors. I mean, aside from Tourette syndrome, you're fine. When I first met you, I didn't even know you had Tourette's until a few months of really interacting with you. And then it's been this continuous devolution into mental health. And I don't think you have what they keep saying that you have. And they don't interact with you as much as I do. I interact with you a few hours a day.
More than anyone on the planet, probably more than anyone in the world ever interacts with me.
I agree. And so my assessment, which is not as a medical professional, but as just your friend, is that you want something to be wrong with you. And you go to these doctors and you're very pliable. And
I didn't want to go to these doctors, right? I didn't want to go to these doctors. My mom made me go to these doctors.
Okay. Well,
my decision.
Okay, well, however you got there. And I mean, why did your mom say that you had to go to these doctors?
Well, everyone has been trying to tell my mom that I'm autistic for years.
Who's everyone?
Family members, doctors. Family members and doctors who, yeah.
Yeah, but isn't there some kind of law that you said that it makes it financially beneficial in Australia to be diagnosed with autism, then your housing is free?
Yeah.
So how do you know they weren't telling her that, or that she doesn't want to do that so that your housing's free?
That's why she wanted me to get diagnosed.
Well, there you go. So, and I understand you're a burden on her. And so she wants a financial kickback. I get that. But that doesn't mean they say that what you have is true.
I don't think it is.
I personally don't think it is either. Look, if you were to
I
ask,
think it is.
if you were to ask
I'm
me,
I'm in a location where it's very hard. It's a low population. It's very hard to get a fucking job.
exactly,
I have fucking Tourette syndrome.
exactly,
And then I have the coordination issues as well. But none of those things that you can. But you can't get on the system with those disabilities. That for some fucking reason, the autism counts, which isn't even like no one even knows what the fuck it is. It's just social communication issues, which I don't have. Social communication issues you can just fucking get over and like learn. Like, look, I'm communicating well right now.
Yes,
like,
you are.
There's no issues in my communication.
Yes, you are.
It's just
Exactly.
like it's not the social communication. It's my lack of competence, my lack of coordination, and quite simply, like to put it easily, like the best way I can put it is somewhat just being fucking lazy because my mum has allowed me to live like this for the last 29 years.
Yeah, I get it. Um, it's not like you're incapable of working. I understand that you're in an area, but let's, if we really want to go through it, we'll go through it. You had Tourette's that was essentially late occurring. It's not like you had it from birth. And that has caused issues in your life. Whether you know it or not, it does. But I know you know it. But even when people have interactions with you, your societal tics are unattractive to some people. And you made it to high school and didn't go to college, which is fine. I think that's okay.
That's pretty normal.
Yeah. But then to earn a position, you've been unable to have long term work for the last 10 years. And that's not necessarily your fault. It is a combination of societal factors, location factors, but there are a million people where you are, and a lot of them have jobs. Do I think you could get a real job? I absolutely do. Do I think you want to? No. And that's
I
fine.
don't understand that.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, you look at the stand-up comedians; they all have jobs. They're just not stand-up comedians. That's like a 10 process to just do.
It's not very good.
No,
Not very good.
no, many of them are very good, and they still need a job or someone to support them. And so you have a situation where you can live with your family, and they'll support you. And so you've just been doing the easy route, and you never moved away, and you never explored the world. And I'm not saying that that's what you needed to do, but even explore Australia. You never did that. So you're in a position right now where,
I have been to Sydney. I've been to Melbourne by myself.
yeah, but that's
I've
like,
been to Melbourne and Sydney.
I know, okay, fine. But I mean, you didn't live there. You didn't make friends there. You didn't establish yourself there.
I did make friends. I still have friends in Melbourne.
But you didn't live there, meaning like you weren't there for 6 months or a year or 5 years.
No.
Nothing like that. Okay, so you're in a
For
situation.
1 week in Melbourne and about a month in Sydney.
Okay, so that's just those are vacations. All right. So
Yeah.
right. So you were in a situation where your mom would let you stay at home, and she's babied you your whole life, and now you're in a situation where, I mean, why do you want to work? You have a dog. You don't have to do anything. You don't have any pressure on you. And you're like, well, I want to. You wanted to have like 5 different careers as I've known you. You've been very motivated for all of them, but the work ethic isn't there. And so then you put in all these your mom basically sees this and knows that you're a burden to her and she could be getting a financial kickback from the government if you were diagnosed with some of these things. And so she pressured you to go get diagnosed so that she doesn't have she has more money. And I understand that. I understand where she's coming from. And is there a possibility that you have some of these things? Perhaps. Is there a much higher possibility though that you're just lazy? Yeah, that's absolutely true. And so and so
Yeah.
and so and I don't know if this is a behavior issue, but you're not very good at finishing things. And I don't mean to as that's an insult to you. It's just my assessment of I've observed with your as your friend. So if I were you, and you're a huge um, procrastinator, you're a very big procrastinator, and you don't have, and you're impulsive, and you, but like the biggest issue that you have is you're lazy. You and I both know that you want your money to work for you and you don't want to have to work for your money, and that's cool. And your crypto wallet may allow you to do that someday, but it's difficult at this point. Now, you did go out and find a job. It just wasn't an ideal job, but you were good at it and you worked really hard, and I was really proud of you for that. And that's why I wanted you to be able to collect the money that you were owed. But all right, Zoo. So, with all that being said, do you have a resume?
Yeah, it's not very good.
Okay, have you put it in ChatGPT and had it been revised?
Not yet.
Okay, well, what are you waiting for, dog? You've been doing ChatGPT's been a thing for more than 3 years, or Grok, or whatever you want. If you want a job and you want to get out of the house and be financially independent, you need a position. If not, you're just going to regress,
Also,
and you're going to have these doctors just tell you what's wrong with you, and they don't know. They don't interact with you. Literally, they have metrics that they need to meet, and so anybody who walks in their door who is easily to persuade, they just tell them, this is what you have. And even if you do have these things, even if you do, there are people with these issues who have jobs, and some of them are high income earners. What you could do, what you could do is take your, if I'm Sue, this is what I'm doing. If I want to change my life. Now, I've told you how to do it with girls and getting dates and those kinds, but even without that, I'm taking my resume, I'm going to put it in ChatGPT. ChatGPT is going to make it perfect in 1 second. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to put it in a PDF. I'm going to print it off. I'm going to print off. Actually, I'm not even going to print it off, but not necessarily. And I'm going to apply to McDonald's. I'm going to apply to Hungry Jack's. I'm going to apply to Big W. Places that I know that you can get hired without any experience. You're able-bodied, and you're going to get one of those jobs. You just don't want to work at one of those places because they're not in high finance and the things that you think that you deserve. And that's fine. But I'm going to tell you this right now. At least in the United States, a manager at Walmart makes over $100,000 a year. Some make $200,000 a year. They make very good money. A manager at McDonald's makes close to $100,000 a year, depending, or general manager certainly does. And if you stayed with these companies and you were consistent with them,
in America?
oh, absolutely. A general manager and absolutely. Let's look it up. What a general manager in Los Angeles, California makes for at a McDonald's.
At a McDonald's?
A general manager. That's different than like a shift manager. How much does a general manager in Los Angeles, California make at McDonald's?
What's a general manager?
You manage the whole store.
What
All right, so they make $120,000 to $219,000 a year. High earners are $288,000 a year.
what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm telling you, you live in a. I don't know why you aren't applying for these positions. Now, are they going to give you that job right away? No, but you have a lot of advantages on the people who are going to be working there. The people who are going to be working there generally are going to be like high school people and people who don't want to make it their career. But if you were like, you know what, I can make this my career and be making $250,000 by the end of it. Now, let's just, if we want to take where you are, what about in Adelaide, Australia? Put it in both Australian dollars and United States dollars. Now, Los Angeles is a place, it's going to pay more, but not really. McDonald's general manager is 105 to 208K Australia per year. Averages $133,000 a year. Now, total pay, including bonuses and such, is 105 to $280,000 a year. Average additional pay is $240,000 a year. Now, even if you were just a general manager of that's $75,000. You could be general manager in a few years. How far is the closest McDonald's to you? Doug, you know the answer to this question.
20 minutes.
Walk or bike or what?
Oh, sorry, no. It's about 10 minutes walk. Hey, Rabbi.
What?
With the discussion we just had previously about, just people going in and getting diagnosed with things, and it's often just laziness and people wanting to be put on medication. What if I work on that and expose how the mental health care system works?
That's cool. And you can have.
Gonna be actually helpful.
Okay, and you can do that. And you can do that for 16 hours a day. Okay, that's a lot of time to spend on that. But you need to spend 8 hours doing a job.
What's I'm not too much of?
It doesn't pay anything. No one's going to pay you to do that.
What if I get connected with politicians?
Okay, that's fine, but nobody's going to do that immediately. And even politicians want money. They don't give out money. So, Zoo, if you took the same motivation that you had for the solar job and just applied to McDonald's, you would still be working at McDonald's because McDonald's is a real place to work. And I'm going to tell you this, Zoo, the reason why I say McDonald's, at least I've never worked at McDonald's, but I've known people to work at McDonald's in the corporate world, and they're the best workers that you can find. 10% of the people who are in the United States have worked at McDonald's at some point. And I'm going to tell you, I've known directors of companies who have worked at McDonald's, and vice presidents of universities who have worked at McDonald's. It is an excellent place to get job skills. And they have tuition reimbursement, and they have benefits. It's an excellent opportunity for you. And you have these pie in the sky kind of dreams. And I don't shoot those down, but you need a job. And how do you get one? You have to apply. You don't, your heart was broken with the solar job, and I get that. But all you need to do is, you don't even need a resume for McDonald's. You just need to go to McDonald's.com or whatever, go to careers, put your area in, and fill out your name, your first name, your last name, your address, and wait for them. You don't even need to do that actually. So McDonald's has open interviews many times at locations. You just you want a job that, like, if you date a girl, you can be very proud of it, and I get that. You don't want to be like, hey, I work at McDonald's, but in today's day and age, having a job is a lot. I mean, that's that's very important. And um, if you had a job, you wouldn't have so much time to be worrying about your mental health and all this other shit. I'm not saying that that's not important, but you're good enough and you're smart enough to have a job. There are people with look. I see this on social media all the time. People with Down syndrome who worked at McDonald's and they retire after 32 years. So if they can do it, dude, you can do it. The thing that's stopping you is your laziness. And you've got a good situation where your family's taking care of you, and they've been doing that for 10 years. You never pushed yourself. And if you said to your mom, Mom, I know you think I've got all these things wrong with me, and maybe I do, but you have to understand that they're leading me into a mental prison, and it's not healthy for me. I'm going to go out and I'm going to get a job. That would make her fucking month. You and I both know that. You are lazy, and you need to get over that. You've been lazy for at least 10 years of your life, and you don't have anything to show for it. You don't have any education to show for it. You don't have a career to show for it. You don't have any certification to show for it. But it's not too late. There are many people who find their place in life later in life, and I'm giving you an opportunity. You can literally go, if you don't want to work at McDonald's, you don't want to work in food, I get that, then go work at Big W. You can go be a store manager. There are things that you can do. And they give you like things that I think would be really good for you, that are like, you're someone who's motivated by money. And so if your store produces well, you get more money. So that's more motivation for you to ensure that the lights shine brighter, and that the floors are cleaner, and that the produce is fresher, and that the people are as motivated as possible. Like, all of those things are going to ensure that your company, your branch makes more money. You don't want to do any of this stuff.
I did.
You don't want to do any of
I
this
did
stuff.
a workaround. Need to figure out how to work around this. All those places that are saying non-issue is you have to apply online. Now, why is that an issue? Because there's so many people applying for them at once. So I need to look for a place where I can go to that I'm not competing with so many people.
Okay, firstly, they don't all require that you apply online. I have seen many a McDonald's sign just by driving around that say open interviews 2 to 4 p.m.
Are you in Australia?
I am not, but I can tell you this, that the McDonald's Corporation runs essentially identically globally. That's why it's been so successful. And you're just lazy. You are just like, well, I'm up against a lot of people. Dog, you have a clean record, you have a high school education, you're able to work. That's all McDonald's is looking for. You just don't want to put yourself up against anybody because you're lazy. All you have to do is apply. You don't apply, so you're not going to get called. If some 18-year-old in high school can get this job, you can get this job. But you're lazy. Now, if you were like, Rabbi, I applied to 3 jobs today. Dude, that's great. If you just did that for a month, you'd have a job by the end of the month. I, without a doubt, feel as if you applied to 3 different places every day, which isn't a lot. That's less than 20 minutes of work a day. If you apply to 3 different places every in your area, you'd have a job within a month. And then you'd have motivation to go somewhere and do something, and then you'd be getting a paycheck. And then what you would do is you could put this toward your mission to improve mental health conditions for people. Then you have something to do. But until then, your day is just going to be doing nothing, playing with your dog, and not achieving your
Going to gangbang on Tuesday afternoon because I have nothing better to do.
exactly, and that's not healthy for you. So, do you have an Indeed account?
Yeah,
Okay. You know they have one click apply, don't you? All right. And you know you could just even get an auto clicker for your phone that would do that for you. You know that, right?
yeah.
All right. So the thing is that I'm hearing is, whether you want to say it or not, you're just a very lazy person, and you've been babied your whole life, and no one's forcing you to do this. But now that you're being forced to get mental health diagnoses, you don't want those. And you should just want to have a normal life where don't have to you don't have to rely on your family, and you have a job, and you have a girlfriend, and eventually you guys get married and have children and have a normal life. That's what you want. That's what we want for you. But you're not going to have that if you don't just apply a job. When's the last time you applied to a job? You've been unemployed the whole time I've known you. When's the last time you applied for a job? Aside from the solar job.
About a week ago.
Okay. What kind of job was it?
It was hospitality. It was as a kitchen hand.
Good. That's good, Sue. Okay. What happened with it?
I just haven't heard anything back yet.
Okay. Have you had anybody review your resume? Like maybe there's a typo in it that you're not seeing. It's always good. I'll do it if you want me to. If you don't want me to do it, have your mom do it. And you would say, how can I make this stronger? So you have AI, and you like AI. You love Grok, but you're not letting Grok work for you. This is what you do. You want to be a kitchen hand. You don't even need to do this as a kitchen hand. But if this is what you want, if you want that job, you take your resume, you put it into Grok, and you say, to structure my resume and create a cover letter that are best associated with being a kitchen hand. And it will do that for you immediately. Literally, it takes 2 seconds.
Last time I applied for that, I got into a trial shift, and the trial shift didn't end very well.
Okay, that's fine. What happened?
Well, last time, it's been five years since I stepped foot into a kitchen in life, right?
Okay.
And they just assume for me to pick up everything and know everything. And I made about 3 different mistakes, and one of them was a safety hazard. It went really badly.
Okay, what'd you do that was the safe? What'd you do that was the safety hazard?
Put a kitchen knife for the dishwasher.
Okay, what's so bad about that?
You meant to hand wash the kitchen, not put into the dishwasher.
Okay, but what would happen if you did put it in the dishwasher? What's so bad about that?
You damage the knife.
How does it damage the knife?
It's a safety hazard, right? Because it could fly when you open. It could also fly out.
Okay, I mean that's not the biggest safety hazard that I've ever heard, but okay, I get it. I understand. But you, and maybe this place just needed someone with more experience, and this was 5 years ago, so you could try again. Now, if you're willing to do it,
Last year.
okay, it was last year.
I said I haven't worked in a kitchen 5 years prior to that. Been 5 years prior to that.
Okay,
I work in a kitchen.
Okay, that's fine. Look, we're gonna go. I did this for Caspian Sea, and we were able to get him a job within 48 hours. I mean, he was working within 48 hours, and I'm sure we can do the same for you. So, a great place to do it is go to Craigslist, and I go to Adelaide,
Let's go Gumtree in Australia.
Gumtree.
Got him a job on Craigslist.
Yeah, and it paid really well, and he was very successful with it. No, he wasn't sucking dick. He was bartending, which is what he had done previously. And we got him a job in, and he made $666 his first night.
What?
Yep, I'm telling you, he's in Las Vegas, and Las Vegas pays for those types of jobs, and he came in and he worked every night. But I'm saying the first night that he worked, he made $666. Yep.
From tips?
Yeah. So what happened? Okay, if you want to know the story, and then we're gonna find you a job. If you want to know the story, here's what happened. He came in to the Discord, and I didn't know him really then. Like, we weren't as good of friends as we are today. And he said, Rabbi, can I come live with you? And I said, I would love to allow you to live with me, but I live with other people, and it's not something that's allowed in my lease. And he's like, well, I don't really have anywhere to go or anything to do. And I said, why don't you just go live with your family? And he's like, I'm not really allowed to talk with them at the time. Now he's with them now, so he's fine now. So I'm like, okay, so where are you living? He's like, I'm just like couch surfing with a friend. I'm like, okay. What's your skill set? What have you done? And he named all these things that he has done, and one of them was bartender. And I said, okay, well, you're in Las Vegas, which is the hospitality capital of the world. We can, I'm sure, find you a job as a bartender. And he gave, excuses like, well, it's really hard to find a job, and, they want all these things that you have to do, yada, yada, yada. And I said, okay, that's fine. I went on Craigslist, and I said, look, there's a place in East Las Vegas that has open interviews for a position. And they are going to have open interviews from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. starting tomorrow. So let's get your resume together. And he was like, okay. So I went and I said, let's just put it in ChatGPT. And it put together a perfect form. And I said, let's put together a cover letter for you. And it put together a perfect cover letter for me. Then I said, all right, well, this is like an in-person interview, and you're going to want to deliver your resume and your cover letter in paper. Do you have a printer? And he said, no. Well, where's the nearest library? And he's like, it's like a mile away. I'm like, all right, well, you're going to walk to the library. You're going to print off your cover letter and your resume. You're going to come back, and then I'm going to quiz you for the rest of the day on bartending knowledge and on bartending questions. He's like, okay, all right. And he got motivated, and he got his ass up, and he went to the library, and he printed off his resume, and he printed off his cover letter, and he came back, and I'm like, okay, So, are you ready to get quizzed? And I did. I quizzed him on all the things that you need to do to be a bartender, all of the drinks that you need to make, and all of the customer service questions that I know that they're going to ask in a job interview because I asked ChatGPT exactly what questions they were going to ask. And I asked him so many different times that he had his answers down and he was very comfortable. And the next day, it was at 8 in the morning. I told him, look, they're going to open up at 8, or they were open 24 hours. It was a bar. Um, I said, you are going to want to be there early and show up and meet the people and go get this job. So he did, and he gave him his resume, and they hired him on site, and he was working uh, that night. And then his first night that he bartended, he made $666, and he made way more money after that. And that was just in tips. Also, in Las Vegas, you make an hourly wage as well, and so I think that was just like minimum wage, but that was very successful for him. All right. Um. So
So he's still earning a ton of money now.
there was something that arose that didn't allow him to continue that, and I understand why. And I don't want to. He could share that with you. I don't want to share that with you, but it was nothing that the job was very successful for him. He could no longer do that job, and basically in the state you need, it's different from state to state, but you need like a license, and he was unable to get the license. Uh, you can work temporarily for like 90 days, which he did, and he was making that kind of money. But then you had to get a license to do it, and he was unable to get the license at the time. I think he could get the license now, but at the time he couldn't. But nevertheless, what we had him do was reunite with his parents, and that's where he lives now. And he's got a dog, and he's got a girlfriend, and he's living a fine life. All right. So for you, what kind of job do you want? Do you want to work in an office? Do you want to work in a restaurant?
Office.
Okay. You, you have a clean record, right? No. Yeah, you got a clean record. Like you haven't done anything wrong, right?
No,
Okay. So
never, never been convicted of a crime, never had any bodies.
so Craigslist isn't as big in Australia as it is in the United States, but um, so local English educator online. Students welcome. Apply. Local. We are dedicated to providing our global clients with high quality academic writing services. This is something, let's see here. Qualifications. Um, you aren't some of those things.
I'm looking for jobs in the country right now.
Okay.
I found something.
Okay. Well, apply to it.
That's in blank.
Okay.
I found something.
Okay, what is it?
New job. I'm like, I'm employed for jobs in that side. I found stuff. Rabbi.
Up, Tim.
GPT, adults 29 without a license or education.
Okay, do you know where Britannia is?
No?
Okay. So we need to, okay, fine. Do you know where Balakova is? Oh no. Do you know where Halbury is? Do you know where Wayville is?
Yeah, I know where it is.
Alright. You can be an ice cream scooper.
That doesn't sound bad.
No, it doesn't. Ice cream scooper to help out the Royal Adelaide show from August 30th to September 7th. Hours are 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. So you apply to Nick, you contact him, and you say, hey, I can do that.
What are the requirements?
An arm and the ability to scoop ice cream. Do you know where Woodville, South Australia is? Do you know where Hyde Park, South Australia is?
Yeah.
Alright. So,
I just called them. I just tried to call them. There's a kitchen hand job.
so apply to it. That's all you need, Zoot. If you had a kitchen hand dishwashing job, it's a foot in the door, and you'll very quickly be motivated to get a different job because you know that you're worth more. But you just need to start. If you came in here every day and before we played our game, you were able to say to me, I applied to 3 jobs today. Okay. Then we'd be playing for a week and you'd have a job, or you'd have interviews. And then you work for the interviews. And that's what you need. You don't need more diagnoses. Do I think that something could be wrong with you? I think there's something wrong with everybody. Nobody's perfect. And your mom is going to be really happy if you had a job that she's not going to be like, well, you have all these issues and you've got to go get diagnosed or whatever. That's all she wants. And I can't blame her. You should say to yourself, and I think this would be a beautiful thing to say to yourself if you were able to do it. You say to yourself, Zoot, every time I want to talk about mental health, I'm going to think to myself, how could I apply for another job? You live in a city with 1 million people. It's a large city that's going to have a lot of positions available to you. And no matter what you're doing, if you just have somewhere to go for 8 hours a day, you're not going to be thinking about all this other garbage that you think about, and you get trapped in your own mind. And you just need to escape that. And then once you have that, you'll be able to get your photos to get on dating sites, and you'll get a girlfriend, and you'll be having regular sex, and you'll have a good life. That's what you want.
I'm rapping about stand-up competition as well.
Okay, that's fine, but that's secondary.
I'm not really about moving involved.
Okay, that's fine, but that's not impressive. What's impressive is if you could get a job as a dishwasher.
That's a funny set.
Okay, it may be, but it's the truth. You think that you are so funny, that's cool. You can still go be as funny as you want on Monday nights from now until January, or even after. But you need something to do during the day, and you need a position.
Yeah, I just can't work Monday nights, but I can work Monday afternoons.
Absolutely. So I'm on.
We always work Monday afternoons and go up and then have something, and then go to sleep and then work Tuesday morning.
Absolutely. You just need something regular. So I'm on Gumtree, and I see pages and pages of jobs, restaurant jobs, pizza maker, busy cafe staff needed, hospitality worker, event staff wanted. You can do all of these things. And it's not like you've got any physical issues that make people say, I don't want this person in front of house. You're not a bad looking person. So that's going to be in your favor as well. So start applying for the jobs, man. Don't worry about mental health right now. Don't worry about stand up comedy right now. Worry about getting a job as a dishwasher. I know it's an uphill battle because it's a lot of work to get a job, but you'll be able to do it.
I'm just looking at this university one.
That would be great, Zoo.
Nah, it's $320. $320 for 28 days. It's not very well written. It's a clinical trial based at Adelaide Medical Science Building University investigating effects of artificial sweetener consumption on blood
Dude, that's not a job. That's a medical trial. Get a job. Get a job as a dishwasher. Get a job as a waiter. You can do that.
Oh no, that one was very well written.
Okay, that's fine. Then you shouldn't even be reading it. That's not even a position that we'd want you to have. We want you to have short to long term employment that's consistent, that's working for a real company.
I found off the
Zoot, a perfect job for you is to work as a security guard
Why is that?
because you have a clean record and it'll allow you to be independent. Sometimes you're allowed on your phone.
What do you need to be a security guard?
Just a clean record usually.
I have a first aid certificate, clean record. I just need registered security operations from Christian security license.
No, you don't need that. There are going to be places where you can do that without necessarily having. If that's what it requires, that's fine. You don't want to have to pay to get something. If you want to do that in the future, you can. But just if you go to hospitality and tourism, there are 92 jobs in your area. If you apply to all 92 or whatever ones are relevant to you, you would have a job by the end of the week.
Actually, this is actually. Why don't you guys rock and what job being offered in Adelaide, Australia right now?
It's not going to be updated enough. Dude, you're being lazy again. You're being lazy again. Literally, Gumtree has 92 jobs. Those are the jobs that are available in Adelaide, Australia right now. All you have to do is apply to them.
I work for
Zoo, I'm going to be here. I don't want you to leave this call until you've applied to 3 places.
applying for Australia Post right now.
That's a great job.
No, I never thought about it.
Okay. I applied at the post office one time, and I got the job, but then I had an offer for a better job that I ended up taking, but I was willing to work at the post office. I went through everything that you have to do, the background check, the interview process, and I had just applied to a lot of positions at that time, and I was offered a really big position, and I took it. But had that not happened, I was actually offered 2 positions. Had I not been offered those 2 positions, I'd be perhaps working at the Irvine post office. And I think, in my own opinion, I think it would have been boring, but in its own way, it's kind of a dream job. At least in the United States, you get federal benefits.
What would you do if I
Dude, shut the fuck up about that bullshit. Apply to 3 different positions.
What if I start my own business?
Zoot. You're being lazy. Nobody wants to work for you. You can't even get a job. Who the fuck wants to work for you?
I'm connecting screenshots of a few things.
Zoot, quit that bullshit, man. Just call them.
It's 8 p.m. here right now.
Okay, then don't go for any of the ones where you have to call. Put your application in. You're not going to leave this call until you have put in.
I already applied for a stronger party.
Not that quickly, you didn't.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That doesn't count as one of the 3.
Counts.
Okay, it counts. Fine. How were you able to apply that quickly?
Yeah, order the place I applied for has auto filter my resume and stuff because I used that website before.
Okay, but your resume has been updated, hasn't it?
Yeah.
You didn't update your resume that quickly.
I already got a good resume.
You already said that it needed a lot of work.
Just need more experience.
Okay, that's fine. It takes experience to get experience, so that's fine. So you applied to the.
It's not the what?
Okay, it's
It's not
fine.
the what resume.
It's fine. So you applied to the post office, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Where else are you gonna apply? How about you apply at McDonald's? Just get your resume in there.
How about I apply at the comedy club?
Zoot. That's fine, but apply to McDonald's first. Zoot, have you ever seen the movie? Zoot, have you ever seen the movie The Founder?
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I saw that movie and it was very inspirational to me. And I think that you would be a perfect fit to work at McDonald's. So, Zoot, right now, I want you to apply to McDonald's. Then I'll stop talking about McDonald's. But then the next thing I'm going to say is Hungry Jack's, and the next thing I'm going to say is Big W, and then I don't know any other places in Australia, so you'll be on your own. But then I won't keep harping on these things.
Derby Harper.
Okay, that one too. So apply to.
Or
Okay, are you on McDonald's.au whatever .com.au?
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, what's taking you so long?
Checking something.
You're gonna okay. So here's our deal. You're gonna apply to McDonald's, Hungry Jack's, Big W, and that other one, and then we're gonna play our game. No, Zoo, no. You need to apply at McDonald's. You did not. You're lying, and I don't tolerate that bullshit. Okay. I want you to apply to McDonald's right now, and the McDonald's application process takes a few minutes. Dude, I don't want to hear anything more out of you until you've applied and you say, I applied, and then you can send me a screen application number. Gesundheit. Okay, so they didn't hire you then. But that doesn't mean they're not going to hire you now.
Well, I'll go in there. I'll go in there tomorrow.
Zoo, quit with this. Quit with this, Zoo. Quit with this. Apply for the position online. If you want to go in there tomorrow, you go ahead and go do that. But your job right now is not to talk about starting your own business or talk about mental health or talking about comedy clubs or talking about what you did in the past. Your job right now is to apply for McDonald's.
I'm halfway through the application right now.
Excellent.
Coming up with AI shit. Okay. Crew member, crew member. Right.
Okay, now do the same for Hungry Jack's.
Symbol Hebrew formula, also the third letter of the Hebrew alphabet. Symbolism used in chastity. Symbol chest head or brain. Letter 9 will represent giving kindness, genuine text. Symbol K Sami, slang in yeshiva. Read notebooks for Gemara, Shachtim, and Halacha. Good Yiddish for luck or fortune. Used in blessing. Good favorite slang. A hard red is where everything works out lucky. The Hebrew for best. Halachic category on stealing. Rashi Hebrew for stealing knowledge. Halachic prohibition of deception. Old Hebrew for redeemer. Refers to Moshiach. Old Hebraic Hebrew for righteous redeemer. Term for Moshiachic prayer. Roland's mentality slang. Something technical thinking, opposite of human mindset. Roland Hebrew for benefactor.
Rabbi,
Yo,
Refers to learning a possible blessing after surviving danger.
go ahead. What?
Old Hebrew for nation.
they want me to do a 60-second video.
Yiddish for monkish.
Okay, do a 60-second video.
Sometimes negatively.
60-second video why I should work at McDonald's.
Talk Yiddish slang.
Okay, perfect.
Not Jewish text.
So go do one.
For practical thinking.
What I would do though is I would go to AI and just say, hey, I have to do a 60-second video of McDonald's. What should I say? Please provide me with a script. And I would just read the script, and if it looked natural, I would send it to them.
When someone starts speaking one now, off no air. Draw acronyms for David Rabbi align on to build a name. Grand Rabbi titles for chastity freedom.
Are you going to do that?
Usually means the freedom.
Yep.
Great
Good.
Yiddish for rhyming verses. Some emperor and hard reckon, often humorous.
By the way,
French favorite slang.
but
Hard reckon,
What'd you say, Zoo?
often rhyme and joke.
getting a new job provider as well.
Grand slang and
You're getting a new job for Riser?
someone who always asks for handouts.
A job provider, someone, I have a job provider that doesn't really do anything. I'm getting another one.
What's a job provider?
Rest Yiddish for belch. Used in slang.
It's the person who helps you look the job.
Rest
Okay.
favorite slang.
That's fine. You don't need one of those for McDonald's.
Where everyone has roaming. Some Hebrew for body. In Japanese, office and practice and the soul.
You can.
Some Nazi Hebrew for
Dude.
lead body.
You are wonderful at not doing things. You're like the best person at not doing things. All you need to do is go to Grok and say, give me a 1-minute script for, I mean, you love acting. This should be your deal, man. So go comb your hair or do whatever you need to do and go record a 1-second video and then get to the end of the process.
Practices separate Torah Hebrew for dedication of the Torah scroll. In Shabbat. Celebrated with dancing and suffering. Package Hebrew for we will return. Formula set at the end of studies on tractate of Talmud. Package 010 for 55. Refers to shadows and also candle lighting. Confucius Hamayon of Hebrew for spreading Fenwell Street. Central Shabbat mission to spread chastity. Papricious Shalom Hebrew for separating shalom. It's better for using a portion of those. Another Hebrew for telling. Procreate on Passover and the Seder. Shabbat has its own annotated edition. Types of Hebrew for listing. Raising the Torah strawberry services. Tacos Hebrew for circuit. Dancing the Torah on Hidden Torah. Tactile Hebrew for
I gotta go record it again.
All right, we'll go record it again. But come back. I want you to tell me when you're done.
In chastity, warns against being overly relenting. Holocaust Hebrew for Jewish law. Living. Holocaust Hebrew for practical law. How Holocaust applies in daily life. Halachic man turns from wrath to lovesick. Sometimes discussed in Shabbat as contrast to chastity men. Hallel Hebrew for praise. Psalms recited on festivals. Hallel Gadol Hebrew for great Hallel. Longer psalm of praise recited on special occasions. Hamasi Hebrew blessed summer bread. Brings forth bread from the earth. Anachos Hebrew for note. In Shabbat. Transcript of the Rima and Parmesan. Anachos Hebrew for edited transcript. Notes from Arima and Talk before editing. Anachos Hebrew for edited transcript. Checked by the Rima. Hanukkah Hebrew for dedication. Holiday celebrating the Maccabees victory and the oil miracle. Hanukkah Yom Kiddush for Hanukkah given to children. In Shabbat, house given by the Reba. Hanukkah Messiah Hebrew Kiddush for Hanukkah party. This is Shabbat outreach. Hanukkah Hebrew for inside. In
Major
Shabbat.
spike in the first century after the temple revolt when all kinds of slaves were brought back to Rome, although Jews were clearly living in prior to this period. So we have since then discovered 6 specific catacomb systems in Rome, which are definitely Jewish. You also note that they're all centered around the Colosseum, which was built largely with the labor of Jewish slaves. So Silvia Cappelletti describes a lot of the history of discovery of these catacombs. They were known, of course, much earlier than 1859. Benjamin Tudela, one of the most famous Jewish travelers in the 12th century, reports seeing some on the eastern bank of the Tiber, which is probably Monteverde that he saw. And later, early 17th century visitors also confirmed seeing them and described the presence of Jewish symbols, in particular the menorah. The menorah, the 7-branched candelabrum, is one of the most famous Jewish symbols. It goes back really to the ancient period, and it's especially poignant to think of it because the menorah was the symbol of the lost temple. So therefore, the Jews kept that symbol as their prime signifier of Jewish identity. Most of the graves seem to have been created in the 1st through the 4th century of the Common Era. It may seem strange to think of Jews being buried in these kind of underground crypts, but this is not at all strange in the ancient world. In Israel, in fact, there's significant descriptions of burial practice, exactly how the bones were buried and so on, and particular practices for reinterment. This is actually the ancient, very ancient history of the Roman practice, the present practice of underground chamber burial. The Romans themselves actually used cremation. Cremation, however, was at odds with the Jewish and then, of course, later with the Christian movement in physical revival of the dead, the resuscitation of the dead, that occur in the Messianic period. Therefore, inhumation or burial in the soil as we have today slowly became a much more popular practice. However, for quite a period of time, the practice of burial in crypts was maintained, and that's why we have these cameras. So most of these photographs are taken from amazing sites. You really have to visit. There's so much about all the information. Catacomsociety.org. That still she'll have researchers, a lot of her writings on this website. Okay, let's have something. What do you see? Here's an amazing picture that shows the interior of the system. You can see that there are these sort of horizontal black-like graves on the left and the right that are line signs of the molar. That's basically the main system of burial that's portrayed in this script, although it's clearly in many centuries. They even have had some usage by non-Jews either prior to or post-Jews it is quite long. We're talking about basically a quarter mile of tunnels that are used for the Here's a map from Jessica Del Russo that shows the various levels, but there were also other forms of burial as well. There's also some burials, for example, in coffins. Some of them were apparently much smaller, indicating a lot of child mortality. There's actually a lid that came from the area. It's also possibly a Jewish child, which indicates some of the hesitations about the dimension of the human form some of these are gorgeously decorated. Cheer. Here you see a painted ceiling. Here is the perennial forest. Well, I hope you found that interesting. I really find it fascinating, and I hope that you will be able to join us on the Gems of Northern Italy tour, which is planned for October of 2022. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to be on that trip, God willing, also with my colleague, Rabbi Dr. Edward Reichman, who does some fascinating stuff on Jewish medical ethics. We're actually going to be CME accredited for this, and I think that's really great for all of you physicians who are interested in joining us. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. Hello and welcome to a new series of lectures. Let's go to our topic at hand. One battle often, especially in
Hot slang or fiery, intense. Speaks about hard wrenches or also hot favorite slang. Hot favorite is not very heated and passionate. Also used in slang for spending money. Commonly joked about in prime time. Called in Hebrew for market. Source of scholastic questions about prime handle. Hebrew for strict. Meaning expert strict in such slang for someone trying to act serious or secretive. Such as for memorial prayer. SSR. Such non-Yiddish slang. Settle. Used for such not example. Giver for present. Also interpolation of something here. Temporary function of one tone in another. Giver shed and giver for interpolating on here. Adding to our meaning here. We learned to notice Hebrew for holy letters. Subsection of Konya with letters and the altar reason. Hebrews coded Hebrew for holy letters. The published letters of the signature Rabbi. Hebrews Shabbat shorthand for the Rina and letters. And he shafted and used them as no means of night. Hebrews practiced Shabbat slang. Writing a letter to Sarah and placing it randomly in the Hebrews coded volume for his answer. Hebrew grade Nintendo. From House of Victim. Those opinion farmers of the living PC. Hebrew for basic or essence. Common intergalactic and Shabbat. Interhaven Hebrew for law. With strict scholastic requirements without strict Hebrew slang from the main point in Ashi or Sitcha. Good to see Hebrew for poverty. Poverty is yeshiva students. If you're so happy, I Hebrew for the TV go. Common phrase from TV. Denied Hebrew for concept or matter. In Shabbat. Used constantly with something Catholic. Denied Hebrew for divine concept. In Catholic, a teaching relating to TV and substance. Denied passion Hebrew for simple concept. Yeshiva slang for something basic. Denied Gadol Hebrew for big concept. Something major or profound. Denied Daylight or Shiakisula Hebrew for matters on Roshiak and redemption. Some strong Shabbat 36 and 1991. Denied Hebrew plural for matters. Shabbat slang for stuff. Example. He has to be working on me. Coded Hebrew for the holy city. Usually refers to Jerusalem. In fact, sometimes used playfully for prime time. Something like Hebrew for city of refuge. Or mandated to silent city. Perfect Hebrew for organization. Israel, they decrease faith.
Here's the bigger deal, too. Now, frankly, these managers are so, the managers are so scared to say yes, as a team, please explain why you let these guys do this. Take to you. Fuck is he doing?
There's a lot more to say.
Sky still is awake and stable. Breezes and revolutionizing how we drink these days.
Hello and welcome to another lecture on Jewish heroes and heroism. This lecture is part of a series used as part of my research to prepare for the route towards Jews up the Seine River. So today, since we are in the month of Kislev, by looking at one of the battles especially a battle that lost, but nevertheless there's a particular moment of incredible courage that left a lasting imprint, especially in art history, but also in the spirit of the Maccabean Revolution. It's the Battle of Bet Zakaria, which you can see here in this map, is not too far away from Jerusalem, which is up to the northeast a little bit. It's near the realm of Jews and Now, what exactly happened here? If you have a look at the description of the battle, the Maccabees down from Jerusalem, where they encountered where Antiochus was commanded by Lysias had already learned that the conflict of that concept that they fighting from advanced to Bethlehem through Judea, and there they had a tremendous battle, and actually had to retreat. But what's the moment of special hero is associated with Elazar, who is the brother of the the book of Maccabees itself is a daily edition of the Apocrypha. Now Elazar, called Allah, saw that animal was equipped with royal armor. What are we talking about? The ferocious elephant war. Really amazing, terrifying. What's going on with this particular war element? It was taller than all the others, and he, Elazar, supposed that the king was on. So he gave his life to save his people and to win for himself an everlasting name. He courageously ran into the midst of the phalanx to reach it, killed men right and left, and they parted before him on both sides. He got under the elephant, stabbed it from beneath, and killed it. But it fell to the ground upon him. The Jews saw the royal might and the fierce attack of the forces was turned away. This was ultimately a defeat for these a temporary defeat, but nevertheless, Elazar's heroism was one spot in which you can imagine the incredible courage it must have taken to run out to this strange, ferocious looking beast and to take it down. I think this actually inspired the famous Star Wars scene of taking out those big walking creatures as well. Anyway, let's have a look at this in terms of art history, because what I find especially fascinating about this Gustave Doré, I think, is a fairly realistic kind of depiction of the battle. But in the medieval period, most artists, especially in Christian Europe, had never seen an elephant. So it's really interesting to see when they're preserved in Christian Bibles, not in the Jewish tradition. So we have the Greek translation of this book that's still widely read in Christian churches, and they're trying to depict this illuminated manuscript. So they don't know what an elephant looks like. They say it's kind of like a big, horse thing with sort of a long trunk coming out of his nose. So here's an example in which it looks a little bit like a horse with a trumpet. And notice that the scale is way off, like you have no idea how big an actual elephant looks. Here's another example where the artist just gave up and said, oh, it's basically a horse, right? A big horse. Here's another example in which kind of like a happy dachshund or something like that. Another version in which the proportions look about right, but the scale is totally wrong. And I have to say that of all of the that this one is perhaps the most understandable. Here's one in which the elephant gets a little bit closer to reality, but the trunk is totally wrong. And here's one which looks a little bit like kind of a saber-toothed tiger with a trunk. Again, the artist is just playing about trying to figure out how to depict the elephant. This one is great. This kind of a salamander with the jaw and the ears. This one I think is fire jumpers. So all joking aside, the heroism and the laws are absolutely amazing, and Chad's got great themselves for this tremendous act of courage back in the era. Thank you very much for watching.
Due to the pressure, people think you're a bitch. You're soft, you're made up, you're some kind. Where are you getting this from? It's hard as that.
Hello and welcome to another video from the Jewish Heroes and Terrorism series in connection with the Today I'd like to speak about a very inspirational young woman named Helen Trump. She was born in Budapest, Hungary in 1921 to an assimilated Jewish family. Her father unfortunately passed away when she was only 6 years old, and she was raised by her mother together with her brother. She was a very bright young woman with very, very long hair and a quite passionate attachment to science. So in 1939, with admittedly the movement of the family deteriorated, she moved to Israel. She made alliances and joined the kibbutz. But that was not enough for her. She wanted to do something for the people of her homeland in Hungary, and so she decided to volunteer to work with the British as a parachutist. She was one of 37 individuals out of 250 applicants who were selected to parachute behind enemy lines into Hungary, where they were near. Once they landed in Europe, they went to the Nazis and overthrown the libertarian government, and that was where they were implementing a much more rigid regime of anti-Semitism. Most of the men in her group called off the mission, but she insisted on creating enemy lines and working with the partisans to try and destabilize the country. Unfortunately, she was caught by the Nazis, she was imprisoned, she was tortured horribly, losing several of her troops. But like an entire ordeal, she refused to give up the signals to the radio transmitter that she held, which would have betrayed several other members of the resistance. After a short trial, she was ultimately put to death by the Nazis. One of the things that has come to light since her execution at a tragically young age was the fact she was a very talented poet. I myself have been very moved by her poems and have included them in my collection. One of the most famous of her poems in Hebrew has become the youth anthem in Israel, and I'd like to read it to you here. I'll read it in English translation. You can see the screen in Hebrew. Blessed is the match consumed in kindred flame. Blessed is the flame that burns in secret cuts of the heart. Blessed is the heart with strength to stop its beating for honor's sake. Blessed is the match consumed in kindred flame. She composed this poem shortly after landing on European soil, shortly before she would be captured, and shortly before, like the match in her poem, she would be consumed in heroic flames of her self-sacrifice
community. We plan to study the lives of many great Jewish heroes through thousands of years of Jewish history on the Normandy St. River cruise, which will take place in July of 2022, God willing. This is going to be a special opportunity since we will be in the region of Normandy to show special tribute to Jewish service members for Israel and especially World War II on a D-Day at the sun. I hope you'll be able to join us. Thank you very much for watching.
That's the issue, because you're dealing with some real shit, which isn't so many other dependent parents are
Hello, fellow students of Jewish history. As you are, like me, following the events of Ukraine with great trepidation, it's terrifying to see the impact of this cruel Russian invasion on the civilian population. And I'm specifically concerned for the health and safety of their remarkable president, Volodymyr Zelensky. And I'd like to take this opportunity to speak a little bit about his leadership in the historical context of Jews living in Ukraine, with his small part to respond to his recent request that Jews around the world raise their voices in protest of what is happening in Ukraine right now. Zelensky's leadership is surprising and inspiring in so many ways. His heroism under these current circumstances, of course, has gripped the attention of the world, but it's also remarkable, especially to many Jews, and especially Jews in America and Israel, because of the prevailing stereotype of Ukrainian anti-Semitism. First of all, I'd like to provide some basic information on President Zelensky's biography. Secondly, I'd like to place his leadership in the broader context of the history of Jews in Ukraine, and to respond to the question of how unlikely is it to be the leader of this country. And thirdly, I hope to achieve in my small way to contribute to the chorus of voices that are all praying for the safety of this leader, for his family, and for all the citizens of Ukraine that are suffering under this savage, unprovoked, and pointless attack. So first of all, he is Volodymyr Zelensky. He is 34 years old, president of Ukraine. Prior to his role as president of that country and really inspiration to the world, he was actually a comedian. He has been declared, however, the #1 target by Putin, the leader of Russia, and he has so far survived several assassinations. Beckerman wrote a fantastic piece in the Atlantic recently, and she wrote what is remarkable, truly mind-blowing in the long history is that his Jewishness has not stood in the way of his being great at this pivotal occupation. I would agree that Zelensky himself is remarkable and mind-blowing, but in the long history, I would say it's only remarkable and not necessarily mind-blowing in the leadership of this country. It has happened several times before, but his very tight leadership of this country, particularly over the last century, and I'd like to kind of explore some of those details now. Zelensky's parents were in many ways typical for their generation. They were both highly educated, very urbanized and literate. His father was a professor of mathematics, his mother taught engineering. And note that they were specialized in non-ideological fields, meaning although they may have been very cultured and very engaged in other kinds of aspects of life, Soviet Jews, when they studied in university, they tended to gravitate to those fields which would be less vulnerable to critique. For example, you don't have a lot of university-trained Soviet Jewish historians because that tends to be a highly ideological field. Zelensky's parents were typical of a type of Jew that was known as Homo Sovieticus, or Soviet man, Soviet human. The idea was to try and keep your head down as much as possible, to not affiliate openly in any way with any organized Jewish entity, certainly not to attend a synagogue, because that was, during the very repressive era of the Soviet Union, the best way to get yourself on the KGB mailing list and to be exposed to all kinds of persecution, small and large, in the future. So they strove to excel and to raise their families quietly, but to stay away from anything ideological or political.
Russian speakers. This is also fairly typical of Jews because as a minority, Jews tend to sort of culturally orient themselves towards the dominant population, and Russians clearly dominated Ukraine for much of the 20th century. Zelensky himself was raised as a Russian speaker, his first language, but he adopted Ukrainian as his second language, like many people of his generation. Actually, one of the things that I've witnessed in my own lifetime, and in my, over the course of my own visits to Ukraine, that it was, in the 1980s, clearly a dominated language, except in the western regions of the country. But now it's overwhelmingly Ukrainian speaking, and the Russians are in the minority. It's remarkable how that changed really since 1991 so rapidly. He also, Zelensky, studied English, and he studied very well. He's actually quite fluent in the language. Let us not forget that he was only 13 years old at the time that Ukraine became independent. So he was an adolescent at the time of that cultural shift that was happening. His wife is not Jewish, which is very typical for Jews in Ukraine, just like it is in the United States of America, a very high degree of intermarriage between Jews and Ukrainians. He went to school and he studied law, also typical for Jewish kids, although a little bit more ideological, particularly in the independence period. And then he went into comedy. He got involved with a comedy troupe that was called Studia Kvartal 95, or Kvartal 95. And this is also actually a very long tradition. So let's not forget that for much of Ukrainian history, Jews were much more urban than Ukrainians. They tended to concentrate in villages, in towns, and whenever they were allowed to live in them, in cities as well. And there were certain kinds of activities that Jews gravitated towards. Entertainment is one of them. And you have a very long tradition of Jews being a klezmer music tradition. And Zelensky fits very well into that kind of paradigm of Jews and entertainment. We, of course, see that tradition in America as well, with Jews gravitating and creating Hollywood and the film industry as well. This comedy troupe recorded a TV sitcom that proved to be extremely popular. It was called Sluga Narodu, or Servant of the People, and it ran from 2015 to 2019. Zelensky played a mild-mannered high school teacher in the cities, still living at home with his parents, who was caught on a cell phone video in a tremendous rant against corruption in the country. That video was uploaded and became viral, and in the series,
Hey, what's up, Sandra? Calm down, woman. Yeah, why do you wear that hat? I don't know, sometimes my head gets cold, but it's like my commodities, brown bomb, mostly, and my mom. I don't know. A lot of times when I sleep, I can just fall asleep like that. Anyway, my hair gets caught, and then it gets gray. I don't know. Frankly, but that's what I do. All right, girls, you ready to get a draft update? Yeah, rabbits in the bed. Yeah, all right, big dog. So, what are your thoughts on your squad thus far? Frankly, I think it's better than I would have come out thinking it would have been. Like, I did all these mock drafts, and I don't think any of them were this good. Like, I did maybe 30 plus another 25 real drafts on ESPN. So I did over 50 real. I did dozens of drafts. Yeah, and I think this is the best spot. Why? Why not? Yeah, do you wear that hat like a condom hat? No, No, but maybe, girl. All right, here we go. Um, you really want to know why I'm wearing it? Because I'm rapping the world, bitch. That means anybody can wear this. I could be done, baby. Huh? Baby. I'm rapping the world. I'm going from zero to hero, baby. And yeah, we're gonna see where it's skiing. Have you ever skied? No. Why? Complicated answer to that. I don't want to. Anyway. Yeah, what is in the back? All right, can you the draft with us? But first, tell us how you think your squad's doing. Well, firstly, I don't know if this is sideways or not or whatever. Hopefully, it's working. Um, yeah. Why do you call it sideways when it's just like this? Because I don't know the camera orientation is like that. I'm not sure. What else? All right, so here's where we're at. Let's just get rid of that. Yeah. Can you just give us a rundown of everybody? So we Jamar Chase 1, Justin Jefferson 2, Saquon Barkley 3, Deshaun Watson 4, Nick Gibbs 5, Derrick Henry 6, CeeDee Lamb 7, Christian McCaffrey 8, Amari St. Brown 9, Stephen Field 10, Ashton Gentry 11, Devin Ham 12, Malik Neighbors 13, Lamar Jackson 14, Brock Bowers 15, Jonathan Taylor 16, Nico Collins, college stuff 17, Brian Thomas stuff, he's fine. 18, AJ Brown 19, Drake London 20, Josh Allen 21, Jameer, Jaden Daniels 22, Josh Jacobs 23, Bucky Irvin 24, Jalen Hurts 25, Brees Hall 26, James Cook 27, Brandon Pride 28, Jalen Burrow 29, Mike Evans 30, Kyron Williams 31, Chase Brown 32, Alvin Kamara 33, Brad McConkey 34, Tyreek Hill 35, Terry McLaurin 36, Patrick Mahomes 27, George Kittle 28, 38, James Conner 39, T. Higgins 40, Baker Mayfield 41, Jason Smith from Jaguar 30, 42. All right. So for the squad, well, I think I got it. I mean, I took a lot of risks. Ashton Gentry, he's a mystery box. No one knows what we're going to do without him. Lamar Jackson, if he stays healthy, he's the best player in the fantasy. Tyreek Hill, he's the fastest player in the NFL, or at least has been consistently. He's been hurt recently, and he went from the number 2 overall pick, which is what I got him last year, to no one knows what we're getting out of him this year. His quarterback is, and then George Kittle, which some people think is the best tight end in the league. I would tell you this: if I had a real team, if I were like a real coach, I would just recruit tight ends because they can block, they're big. You don't really need wide receivers to be on that fast. They just need to be able to catch the ball and then form on all that. And they can block. And you can literally just line them up on the offensive line. And they're huge dudes. All right. So what are your thoughts on? I mean, I don't know. Has anybody taken quarterback and a tight end on a team this way? Yeah, one person. Bitcoin. I gotta take a shit. When's the next pick? It's not gonna be for a while. I slept, and they were waiting 3 hours for my no pick. And Tyreek Hill, I think I got him with a steal. So let's see here. He was a number 18 wide receiver last year. He hasn't practiced all fucking summer. They better not come out and be like, oh, yeah, he's done. Dude, you know why I fucking picked him? He's fast. But really, this motherfucker was in handcuffs before the kickoff of opening season, opening game, hours beforehand, and he tweeted out at Cheetah. That's another thing. I think the type videos at Cheetah he bought from somebody because he's that fast. He tweeted out to all my fantasy peoples, I'm good. I was like, because I picked you number 2. Alright. So who we take in the next round? Well, here's the strategy. We're just doing the best running backs we can get. And there are some people who are like, if there's a guy, let's say guy number 1, I don't really know how to pronounce his name. I don't really know who he is. And guy number 2, and I do know how to pronounce his name. Maybe it's not as good as guy number 1, but it's pretty close. I'll pick guy number 2 just so I can like remember their name. If it's gonna be close. Like this team could have been a boring fucking team. That's for gas. I'll give some Pastel gas, girl. I love them better. Anyway, what you're this team is maybe one of the best teams drafted thus far. Let's see if we have any competition. Alright, so the first guy that was Thea, he got Jamar Chase, Bucky Irving, James. But I don't know who's got it before. The next person is Steve, Justin Jefferson, Josh Jacobs, Brees Hall. That's good. Schiller, Saquon Barkley, Jaden Daniels, James Cook. That's good. Bitcoin, Deshaun Robinson, Josh Allen, Trey Green. That's a good team. That might be the best team. Next is Mike P. Scroto, Jameer Gibbs, Jake Allen, Jake London, Joe Burrow. Okay. Next team, you Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, Mike Evans. That's good. Next is Halloween, CeeDee Lamb, Brian Thomas, Kieran Williams, Jason Smith, and New. That's a good team, but that's a lot of receivers. Next, Christian McCaffrey, Nico Collins, Chase Brown, Baker Mayfield. Getting weaker. Next, Yo-Yo, that was Scroto. Yo-Yo had Amon St. Brown, Jonathan Taylor, Allen Kamara, That's good. Now, I could have had T. Higgins, but he's the number 2 receiver on his team. I like going with that number 1. Next is Red Cloud, Nicola Brock Bowers, Lad McConkey, and James. He doesn't have a quarterback yet, which is fine. You don't necessarily need it. I'm pretty diverse. Ashton Gentry, Lamar Jackson, Terry Hill, George Kittle. Butler Kittle. Ashton Gentry is a mystery box. I just have a feeling that he's going to be like this rookie sensation and just blow everybody out. Like, he will quickly be the best running back in history. I think he gets less than 121,253 touchdowns this year, he'll be a bust. Lamar Jackson, he was number 1 last year over anybody. And I look on Reddit and like websites like, who should you pick? Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. Basically, Lamar Jackson got screwed out of the MVP last year. So I feel he's got the fire to get it this year. And Josh Allen, I think it's a less risk to get hurt. But he just has less weapons. Baltimore added weapons. They could be good. Right, Terry Hill always has he has 1,000 red flags. But that's okay. I have 1,000 red flags, baby. Oh, I was thinking about this, that the muse from Bobby Notes. I think we're about to know people like this phrase. Shoot or shoot, baby. That's what I do. Anyway, what is it? There's a phrase from The Office. Engaged, straight, married. And she wasn't engaged. Really? And the thing is with that chick, I asked all the guys who I knew, like, hey, this girl, I asked them, do you like this girl? They're all like, they like the other chicks. So I was like, okay. Green light. Really? Yeah. Do you think Rabbi looks good as Maddie? No. Shoot or shoot, baby. I'm glad we handled it the way that we did because I would not have been able to dial in with any Kavana that day. It was a shocker in the morning, beginning of the week, and there was a shocker. So it was a morning prayer, and I just remember being. I was like, where was I? I was driving into the Chabad through their little passcode system. He just was like, slow down, calm down. Really? Yeah, because I was like, this girl is smoking. Really? She's fucking earmuffs, dog. Dude. She doesn't look like Princess Leia. Anyway. Better looking. Dude, this girl motivated me to call people and be like, I have closure. And she allowed me to get as much closure as I can get. Really? Over what? Just, I needed to see a face like that. Anyway. And earmuffs. 75-degree look. There's a really bad problem. Alright, is that the end of your story? No, I've come to stories. Alright. You like Rabbi instrumentals? Yeah, I love it. They were my first Rabbi family. Really? It was the first. Is this thing still recording? I fucking hate this shit. Is this still recording? Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Anyway, I don't know if this is still recording. But then I have to fucking redo all the fucking things. This shit sucks. Oh, dude, the internet is out. It's bad. Dude, I don't understand why we can't have connectivity anywhere in the world all the time. It just like doesn't exist. Like, cable doesn't go in and out. Why does Wi-Fi? Wi-Fi, all Wi-Fi routers should have Wi-Fi. They're like a backup system. I don't know. It just shouldn't go down. It doesn't even miss it. Just shit shouldn't go down. Anyway. I love Chabad Sherman. Love the people. It was the first Chabad within Sherman Oaks where I had been part of the community, and I still think of those rabbis as evil. And they inspire me. And I look forward to reuniting with them someday. Alright, saw Rabbi Lipsker years later at a funeral, and he recognized me. I was in like a big beard, bigger than this one, like black hat, and like CC, and just looked as frum as you could look. And I sat in the corner. It was at I can't think of his first name. I can think of his wife's name. It's been years though. Silverman's last name. His funeral, the Silverman funeral, and I had to take off work and drive from Orange County to Mount Sinai or Forest Lawn. No, Mount Sinai, which is in Forest Lawn, adjacent. Anyway, and I was there, and another rabbi and Rothschild were really happy that I came because they knew the sacrifice that I had to make to get there. And what do you know, this fucker from Chabad or someone else walks in. No fucking way, Lipsker's here. And he'd look back and be like, no fucking way are you here. Really? Alright, are you done with this fucking earmuff story and shit? You're fired. Go fuck yourself. Yeah, it's Bill Silverman. But I'm doing these, it's hard for me to think sometimes. But yeah, Bill Silverman. I really like him. He's very nice. He had a really beautiful life. He was an electrical engineer, UCLA. And there's another, what was his wife's name? Selma? She had the most interesting accent. I think she was from like, it wasn't British, it was like the West Indies, something like that. And I went to the funeral, I went to the memorial service that we had at the Greenwoods. I almost spoke at his memorial service, but I
Dr. Vidri's Logic Prayer Commentary by Rashi and Student System of Vidri. Mandarin Hebrew 4 line. In Shabbat context. Counselor or leader. F. Instead. Man Reich accepted form of Mandarin. Magid Hebrew for preacher, storyteller. In Shabbat. Teacher of chastity. Also title of the literature Magid. Magid Hebrew for lesson giver. The main lecturer in a yeshiva. Masjid Hebrew for supervisor. Either a kosher fire or yeshiva spiritual guide. Bashkia Shabbat term for spiritual mentor who guides in chastity and Amuda. Bashkia Ratami Hebrew for spiritual guide. Formal title in Shabbat Yeshivot. Support mentor and Hebrew for tradition. Central idea intelligence and Jewish continuity. Baptist Hebrew and Hebrew for priestly gifts.
Oh, that didn't record?
Obligatory gifts given to Sohani. Masa Hebrew for heavenly bread. Central successive observance. In Shabbat, emphasis on 10-day Ephaser Masa. Masa Hebrew Yiddish for situation slang. What has the Masa? What has going on? Masa Rudolph Hebrew for atmosphere, period. Used for and upon register. Mayholic Hebrew for approach, method. In Yeshiva. That has his Mayholic in learning. Messenger Hebrew for beautiful, enhanced. Refers to which those performing in the best way. Needle Hebrew for robe. Priest has garment or procession. Also linked to the icon use of holy property. Vicar Hebrew for sword. Slang. What has the vicar for Netelachah? Lexical Hebrew for complete. Telachah Hebrew for word. The 39 categories prohibited on Shabbos. Not of mental common Shabbat days, after text of T-Medic and literature Reba. Often shortened to mental. Mental common nickname in Shabbat Yeshivim was for the not of mental. Methader Tibution Hebrew for one who arranges the wedding. The officiating rabbi at the Shabbat. Meshachus slang for Shabbat emphasizing public pronouncements of the Reba and Moshiach.
Yeah, Reddit's in the back. Yeah, let's get down to brass tacks, big dog. How are your bots doing? That's an excellent question. Well, okay. You know, Jerusalem wasn't built in a day. And I used to get more people who are talking to me in the chat, and that kind of is a way that I can judge how successful they are. But the one on which most people were, on which they were talking to me, isn't connected for some reason. Which it shouldn't be. In the future, I should be able to just take the links from different accounts and then just put them in one unified chat. That's not that hard to do. But these people are so stupid who engineer this stuff, and it's like you have to do it for every new fucking video. And it's like, wow, this is too much work. Just one time, I'm fine with, but every single time a new one, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And you know, the Instagram app I have like years of my life archived on it. But now that you need at least 1,000 followers, that's just I was reading why they would do it, and they were like, so much resources and things like that. It's like, dog, Zuckerberg, you guys are in the data industry. You should want people to do as much shit on your app as possible. And I get it. You guys are like, well, what if somebody does something that we don't like? Let's say somebody fucking, I don't know, beheads a unicorn on the fucking app. Okay, well then you ban their account if that's what you want to do. And they're like, well, okay, but then they'll just go and create another account. It's like, yeah, you've got enough things in there to stop them. Very consistent. And you know, like all you have to do is just device fingerprint on it and do whatever Reddit does. Right? Reddit is the new app that I've ever seen. I remember years ago reading about how Reddit was changing. This is before they sold to Kanye West and all that stuff, and it was like it's you're no longer gonna be able to once they're able to just create a new account. And I remember being like, yeah, I doubt that. And it is. I mean, you can, but nothing's gonna happen. Dog, I think, dude, Florida had this law, and their stupid ass governor vetoed it or something. It was called like an anti shadow banning law or something. Like, I feel that people should be honest with each other in business and in life and stuff. And using a platform like, for instance, Facebook or something, and you reply to someone, if that reply isn't going to be shown to the person, aka it's like shadow ban, that should be an illegal practice. But they don't allow it to be an illegal practice. And people type entire sentences to each other, and they're like, oh, I didn't get that, or it went to spam or something like that. I feel that that's an illegal practice, and it's like, well, then how are you going to stop bots? And I would say this: if you want to use these platforms, then you have to upload your ID. But then they can't just ban your account as easily as they want. In fact, these companies are so big now that they are basically like utilities. They're like digital utilities. Like, you have a right to use it. Once a company becomes a monopoly, like Facebook or Amazon or whatever, you have a right to use them, I feel. And it's like, but they're a private company. Okay, yeah, that's fine, but they're taking tax breaks and they're basically not paying any taxes. And so if they want to lose all of those incentives, then then they should be able to say who they want on it or not. But if they take tax incentives and basically operate within the country, you have a right, I feel, to be able to use that, and the First Amendment should be protected under it. If they want to go and not operate in your country, then that's fine too. But I feel like, let's say Facebook were launched in the year 1800, you would be able to say whatever you want on it. There wouldn't be any libel on it. It and it would be because, I mean, like, Congress shall make no laws. It would be like, this is why we had this country formed, was to have these rights. And not only that, if you really know how the rights work, at least in the Constitution, the government does not give you the rights. You are endowed by your creator. Whatever the fuck created us gave us the right to free speech and the right to assemble and the right to religion and the right to bear arms and all of that. Like, and if you don't like that, then find another country. And if, like, that's what I don't like. Like, to me, like, I'm not someone who owns guns or whatever, like, or whatever. But, like, even doing, like, background checks on people for guns, that is an infringement on the Second Amendment. Do I think that you should have to do that? That's not my determination to make. But then what should be done is there should be another amendment that comes in that says that you can do that. But even still, that goes against the Bill of Rights because the first 10 were endowed by our Creator. So then it just means that it has to be a new country. That's just how it should be. Like, if you want laws to work the way consistently, and whether you want guns or you don't want guns, I don't have a dog in that fight. But what I'm saying is, there's this contradiction that happens where it's like Congress cannot make laws against any of these things, and then you have the Brady Bill. It's like, well, isn't that Congress making laws against handguns or something? Yeah, it is. They're like, well, the fucking Supreme Court said, blah, yada yada yada. It's like, it's very clear what it is. That bear arms, like a polar bear arms? Maybe it is. I don't know. That's what it says. It doesn't say guns. Maybe somebody interprets it as bear arms. I don't know. All I know is that the First Amendment is endowed by our Creator, at least according to the Bill of Rights. Bill of Rights? Bill of Rights. And you can't take those away from someone. Now, if you want to start another country, then that's a different deal. So, all right, yeah, I don't know what the fuck we're talking about, but so how would you make it work? You're like, well, I feel that you should be able to say whatever you want and write whatever you want to anyone at any time, anywhere. You should be able to say, I'm going to blow up the world, or I don't like unicorns, or I will kill you if you hurt me. You should be able to say all that shit. Sticks and stones might break my bones, but words will never. That's like a fucking thing. Now, when it comes to hitting people and that kind of stuff, that's different. But words, you should be able to say whatever the fuck you want. That's protected speech. But what about yelling fire in a crowded theater? Dog, you should be able to yell fire in a crowded theater if there's a fire. And the thing is, well, what if somebody does it and there's no fire? Okay, then people will clear out. But then in the future, everybody's going to know that that asshole's the guy who yells fire. And they'll get a reputation. And the society will make its determinations, but that is not for the law. Because it's a slippery slope between being able to say whatever you want, and then only not being able to say fire in a crowded building, and then not being able to say help when you need it. And I don't like that. All right, that's our constitutional lesson. No, okay, so it goes back to these platforms. These platforms have become, what the fuck? It just crashed?
Lower chest Hebrew for preserver of kindness. Part of the 13 attributes of mercy. Voice of Hebrew for decoration of the subject. Unifying of the subject. Nessus Hebrew for virgin, liturgical rite. Shabbat uses Nessus Hari, as arranged by the altar Riva. Nessus Hari Shabbat liturgy based on teachings of Cardinal, codified by the altar Riva. Detachment on prayer rite of those detachment on the Jews. Uses Stefan prayer rite influenced by Kabbalah, used by many Chassidim. Congo Hebrew for 10. In Shabbat, the Congo Hebrew terracing place of the Lucifer Riva in Queens, New York, central site of pilgrimage and prayer. Congo Torah Hebrew forehand of Torah. Refers to a yeshiva or the Midrash. Or Hebrew for life. In Kabbalah Chassidus, refers to divine emanation or life of equals infinite life. Or life of Hebrew for infinite life. A central Kabbalistic concept of Hashik and infinite revelation. Or Hashik, light of life. Refers to the commentary on the Torah by Rabbi Chaim Ben Hatter. Or Hatter and Shabbat set off agreed by the teaching of Tzedek. Or Hebrew for inner life. In Chassidus, the divine energy that permeates and is eternal life. Or in Hebrew for surrounding life. Refers to divine influence that transcends and surrounds creation. Both in fact Yiddish slang for some empty way. Sometimes used as part reference. With Yiddish for letter or house Yiddish. Slang. Part is B equals E and none for. Switch off is Yiddish slang for someone who has separate Shabbat lifestyle. Both in Yiddish slang for held back or restrained. Yiddish slang for tried out. Bogus mark Yiddish for outcast. Used negatively in slang. Bogus person Yiddish slang of thrown out, reject. Bogus isn't safety Yiddish for blessed up. And when someone seems lucky. Bogus similar Yiddish for fully learned, well educated. Sometimes ironic. Bogus just Yiddish for all dressed up. Along Hebrew for world. In Kabbalah, refers to levels of reality along passages, along Ketzera, etc. Along Hava Hebrew for world to come. Refers to ultimate spiritual reward after resurrection. Along Beta Hebrew for this world. Physical existence contrasted with along Hava. Along Hebrew plural for world. Refers to multiple spiritual planes in Kabbalah. Along Microsoft Hebrew for infinite world. Physical concept of the unlimited divine realm. Along Adam Hebrew for world of chaos. In Chastity, a primordial state of divine life before rectification. Along Cosmic Contender for world of rectification. The balanced state where divine life is harmonized. On Hebrew for time, period. Intelligence refers to conjugal obligations between husband and wife. One and Hebrew for life, pleasure. Central in Chastity, one and shadow equals the light of truth. One and shadow Hebrew for Sabbath life. And golden the food. strong, and rest on Shabbos. Rothschild'S name of David versus author Sergeant Rothschild'S, the authoritative Aramaic translation of the Torah. Rocky Hebrew for force, third. Ikaluja refers to someone exempt due to circumstances beyond control. Orla Hebrew for Thursday. Ikaluja refers both to circumcision and to the prohibition of eating fruit from a tree and first 3 years. Or for you is so light. Title of an early Halachic verse. Orthodoxy action cast off the righteous. Classic Jewish mentor text. Quran Hebrew for arm. Refers to the Ark of the Covenant or Aaron's Kodesh Torah arm. Kodesh alone Hebrew for equal agency. Closing line of Kaddish and Amidah. Azio Hebrew for letter. Refers to the building blocks of speech, Torah, and creation. Hadar Hebrew for treasury, for now. Ikaluja can refer to the legal produce collection Hadar used in. Hadar has captain and treasury of Chassidim. Archive and publishing art of Shabbat. Because Hebrew for searching. In Chassidim, described as those who serve passion with effort. But passion Hebrew for one who serves God. Double Hebrew for murder. Someone within the Halachic mourning period. Handelai Abilis Hebrew for idol worshippers. Delai Hashem Hebrew for serve of God. Handelai Hashami Red Hebrew for worshippers of stars and constellations. Turkish Halachic text for idolaters. Quoting as all Yiddish slang explanations like below in these. For Yiddish explanation. Quote. Expressive surprise, grief, or frustration. For them all Yiddish for oh my gosh love. Strong expression is just voice. For they Yiddish for oh low. Common Jewish slang for frustration or difficulty. For they is near Yiddish for low disease. Expressive meaning of the well. For Yiddish for on, upon. Used in many phrases e.g.
that looking at me? So you're the Discord guy? Okay, I'm the Discord guy. Check, check.